My name's Jake, and I swear, if you'd told me a year ago I'd be standing in my front yard, ankle deep in mud, grinning like an idiot while my neighbors lost their minds over a moat, I'd have laughed you off. But here we are. It all started when I bought this fixer-upper in Oak Ridge Estates, a cookie-cutter suburb in Ohio, where every house looks like it was spat out of the same HOA-approved mold. I'm a contractor, so the plan was simple. Renovate the place. Flip it. Make a buck. The house was a steal, but the catch. It came with Karen, the HOA president from hell, who had a vendetta against me from day one. Apparently, my garage was encroaching 6 inches over the property line, and she wasn't about to let that slide. It began with a letter, hand-delivered by Karen herself, a woman with a perm so tight it looked like it was strangling her personality. "Mr. Thompson," she said, clutching her clipboard like it was the Constitution. "Your garage violates Regulation 3.1.2. Fix it, or we'll fine you $500 a day." I stood there, paint splattered from patching drywall, thinking, "Lady, I just moved in. Give me a second." But Karen didn't do seconds. She did ultimatums. I checked the survey, she wasn't wrong. The garage, built decades ago, was slightly over the line. Fixing it would mean tearing down half the structure, costing me thousands. I tried reasoning with her. "Karen, it's 6 inches. Nobody's losing sleep over this." Her eyes narrowed. "Rules are rules. Jake." That's when I knew this wasn't about the garage. It was about control. The fines started rolling in. $500 a pop. Stacking up faster than my renovation bills. Karen would swing by daily, snapping photos of my illegal garage like she was paparazzi and I was some washed-up celebrity. My neighbors, Tom and Linda, weren't much help either. Tom's the kind of guy who mows his lawn in dress shoes, and Linda's always got her nose in everyone's business. They'd whisper with Karen, throwing me side-eye like I was running a meth lab. I tried appealing to the HOA board, but they were Karen's puppets. Demolish the garage or face legal action, they said. I was drowning in red tape, and Karen was holding the hose. I'm not proud of it, but I started losing sleep. I'd lie awake, picturing Karen's smug face as she slapped another fine on my door. That's when the idea hit me, not a light bulb moment, but a full-on fireworks show. If they wanted to play property line chicken, I'd play. Hard. The next morning, I rented an excavator, called up my buddy Mike, who's a landscaper with a chip on his shoulder for HOAs, and we got to work. The plan: dig a moat, yep. A freaking moat right along the property line. Perfectly legal, per the city code, as long as it was on my side. I wasn't just drawing a line in the sand. I was carving it in the earth. We started at dawn, the excavator roaring like it was ready for war. By noon, we had a 12-foot wide, 6-foot deep trench stretching the length of my lot. Right where my garage crossed the line, Mike, grinning like a kid on Christmas, suggested we fill it with water from a nearby creek. "Make it a statement, Jake," he said. So we did. By dusk, the moat was glistening, a muddy middle finger to the HOA. I hammered a sign into the dirt. "HOA can't cross this line," in red spray paint. It was petty, sure, but damn, it felt good. That's when the fireworks really started. Karen showed up, clipboard in hand, with Tom and Linda trailing like her personal fan club. Her face went from pink to purple when she saw the moat. "What is this?" she shrieked, her voice hitting octaves I didn't know existed. "This is vandalism. This is an eyesore." I leaned on my shovel, wiping sweat from my brow. "Karen, it's my property. I can dig a moat if I want. You want to talk eyesores? Look at your clipboard." Tom gasped like I'd slapped his grandma, and Linda started muttering about property values. Karen stormed off, promising to sue, but I knew she had nothing. The moat was legal, and I'd checked every box. Here's the twist: while Karen was losing her mind, I'd been doing some digging of my own, figuratively this time. Turns out, her precious corner lot. It had a drainage easement nobody had enforced in years. I tipped off the city, and within days, an inspector showed up. Karen's backyard shed, her pride and joy, was sitting smack on the easement. The city ordered her to tear it down or face fines of her own. Poetic. Right. She spent weeks fighting it. But the shed came down, and so did her ego. The moat stayed, though I eventually drained it to avoid mosquitoes. Neighbors started calling it Jake's Revenge, and even Tom and Linda stopped glaring at me. Well, mostly, in the end, the garage stayed put. Karen's fines stopped when I threatened to countersue for harassment, and she moved out a few months later, probably to terrorize some other neighborhood. My house flipped for a tidy profit, moat and all, and I drove away from Oak Ridge Estates with a story nobody'd believe unless they saw it. Life's too short for petty tyrants like Karen. If you're dealing with an HOA breathing down your neck, don't just play their game, change the board. Dig your own moat, metaphorically or otherwise, and take back what's yours. The end.